Welcome to Foglight Video Solutions. This video will cover how to set up Foglight DB2 agents for monitoring PureScale. My name is John Sakalauskas and I'm a technical product specialist for the Foglight product. The objective of this demo will cover how to set up Foglight DB2 agents for monitoring PureScale. The setup has some minimum requirements for database and operating system connections. Please review the prerequisites and requirements as a setup reference. Also consult the Foglight documentation guides mentioned below. To add DB2 agents for monitoring, first log into the Foglight console and access the database's dashboard. Then click Monitor and select DB2. The Monitor DB2 Instance Setup Wizard should display showing the Foglight Agent Manager selection view. Use this screen to select the host that the Foglight would use to create the Foglight DB2 agents on for monitoring the DB2 instances. The current Foglight agent managers that are reporting into the Foglight management server and the total number of agents deployed against them are listed. Unless the default selection has been changed by a Foglight user, the radio button usually defaults to the recommended Foglight agent manager that contains the smallest number of deployed agents. This automatic function helps to control with load balancing and sizing that affects performance on the Foglight agent manager. Remember that the host should meet the system requirements and supported number of deployed agents in accordance to the Foglight deployment guide. Accept the recommended host or select another host in the pick list and click Next. During this process in the background, an installer agent is created if it doesn't already exist. This is used to make and control connections to the DB2 instance for the agent during the setup creation. The instance connectivity settings are required next. Click Set Instance Details to configure the settings that the engine will use to connect to the DB2 instance. Enter the DB2 host in the name of the DB2 instance slotted for monitoring. The port and the DB2 home settings are optional. The process should then identify and populate the two fields during the validation stage. Select the authentication type that is used in your environment. Next, enter the login credentials for both the DB2 instance and the OS connections. The OS monitoring selection can dictate the type of login authentication that is needed for the DB2 instance. For OS connections, there are two types of login connection methods. You can log into the host with the same account that is used for DB2 instance monitoring. In this way, the indicated account will be configured under the login credentials to access both the DB2 instance and the OS for monitoring. The other method is to log into the host using different login credentials. In this manner, the operating system is responsible to connect to the operating system, and the login credentials connect to the DB2 instance. Select a connection method that's appropriate for the authentication that's based on the DB2 host OS type. Enter domain /user and password, then click Validate for Windows, for example. The validation process will initiate verifying the configured DB2 instance details, and successful validation will display a recap of the settings, which includes the port in the DB2 home. Any failures will result in the pop-up reporting an associated error. Click Next. Database connectivity settings validate the login credentials that are used by the agent to access the monitored host and check for the required login permissions. During the validation process, the agent may display to enter the sysadmin user or to grant additional permissions to the login user through the Foglight UI. The sysadmin password is not stored in the system. Scripts may also be provided if needed to copy out and execute in the DB2 environment before completing this step. Select the instance agent and the corresponding databases, then click Test Connection. When the connectivity validates successfully, the status will reflect the connection verified and list the database's current mode. At the bottom of the screen is a link to the scripts that can be used. Click Next. Host connectivity settings validates the login credentials to the physical host that are necessary if a separate login for the operating system was configured during the initial setup step. Click Enable OS Monitoring to receive the OS-related metrics. Click the box if the instance resides on the cluster. Select the box for the physical host and click Validate Connectivity. The process verifies the connection to the physical host. Click Next as the validation completes. A summary screen will recap the details for the Foglight DB2 agent before it's finally created. If there is any settings that need to be corrected, click Previous to return to the appropriate screen. There are adjustable options as well as being able to change the appearance name of the Foglight DB2 agent on the database dashboard. Once the agent is created, the name cannot be changed. There is also an opportunity to modify the alarm sensitivity level. Select alarm sensitivity to determine what level of alarms the system will store and display for this instance. After confirming all of the agent's details are listed properly, click Next and the Foglight DB2 agent creation begins. A pop-up will indicate that monitoring of the DB2 instance has been set up successfully. Click Finish to get redirected back to the database dashboard. The Foglight DB2 agent should appear on the database's dashboard after a few moments. Data samples may require a couple of intervals to populate the agent's dashboard view. To learn more about Foglight for databases, visit us at support.quest.com. For quick support questions, follow us at Quest Experts on Twitter.